Retire at 48. What you need to be thinking about and what you should be concerned with. We're going to talk about that here today at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. So if this is on your mind that you're thinking about retiring at a younger age than what we normally think about retiring, this is the place for you. So don't forget to subscribe down below. And if you do, don't forget to hit the bell to be notified for future content, because we do, 3 videos a day here. This is my full-time job other than raise my family. So hang in there because you're going to get a lot out of this. All right. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, actually. I had a guy email me, Scott, I think. I can't remember his name. He says, look, I'm thinking about retiring. I'm 45 years old. I'm thinking about retiring. What do you think? And so we just started batting around a little bit, and I got his numbers. I'm using some of the numbers explicitly that it gave me. I've taken a little bit of liberty from some other ones just to make it a little bit simpler. But I did want to share it with you because I think there is a hidden issue when folks are going to retire early. Now, remember, I'm 48 right now. All right. And so I'm in this kind of thing. I didn't retire, but I quit my job to work on YouTube, to work on building my own client base. And so I had no income coming in. And my only income is from my IRA distributions, which is taxable as income. And there's a 10% penalty as well. And so that's a challenge, no other way around that. So if that is you're going to show you a couple of things that might make you think about it in a little different perspective, because I think it's important for this. So let's dive right into this now. And so we're going to my Right Capital software. Sorry, I just had a thing in my, it's like a cat, those cats, Gollum from Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not Gollum, trust me. All right. Anyway, so let's go first and foremost, the profile here of Scott and Melissa. All right. So we're going to go to family right there. So we got Scott and Melissa. Scott's 40. He's 48 now. Okay. Melissa's 44. All right. So actually, this could be Josh and Charlotte because I'm 48. She's 44. But at the end of the day, we got Scott and Melissa. They're 4 years apart. Now, the net worth consists of, they have $140,000 in checking as jointly owned. All right. They got an investment portfolio with Scott's 401k. And I'm just using the Vanguard Life Strategy Growth Fund as a proxy. He's got $562,000 in there. All right. And they don't have any other investments, so no other liquidity, if you will. So just a bank account, 140, and they got 562 in the 401k. They got a property. You got 2 properties. They got one, their primary home. All right. I forgot what state they're in. We'll look at it in just a second. The current value is $289. I had 0 for a purchase price. We'll just say the inheritor. It doesn't. In this case, it doesn't matter. Now it could matter in terms of if you're going to sell it and whatnot. It frankly won't. Even in this case, simply because you got $500,000 of capital gains free, as long as you lived in there 2 of the last 5 years and married finally jointly. So right here, I'm no purchase price. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could, but it doesn't. So anyway. A $3,000 annual property tax with $1,000 annual homeowners insurance. Then they also have a rental of $300,000 is the rental. All right, and we're just saying they purchased it last year or this year for $200,000. The current value is $300,000. Don't get too caught up in this stuff right here. At this stage, it doesn't matter. The property tax is $3,000 with a $2,000 annual insurance. Because a rental, you definitely want more liability coverage. All right, just because if you have some drunk kid and he falls off the balcony, it's on you, my friend. So you want to pay a little bit up for an umbrella and some liability coverage. But he is getting, or they are getting $1,300 a month in rent from the property. I got my calculator. Sweet. And we're saying no monthly maintenance is on the renters, and we're not depreciating or anything like that. All right. So we're going to keep this until they both die, Melissa and Scott. So for many, many years to come, we're going to increase rent by 3%, and that's pretty much it. So nothing fancy there. Is jointly owned. I don't even know if you can put in a trust here. No, you can't. So sometimes you want to put an LLC. In fact, you should put a rental property in a limited liability company. Remember, it's not a limited liability corporation. It's a limited liability company, an LLC. All right. So that's it. That's the extent of their net worth. If you go to the dashboard, we can see that their net worth is $1.29 million. They got no liabilities at all. All right. We can break down the details of the net worth. Scott's 401k, and they got a joint checking account or cash account. Doesn't really matter. And so the liquidity is $702,000. They got 2 properties that they jointly own of almost $600,000. They got no debt whatsoever. So their total liquid net worth is $702. Total real estate assets is 589 for a total net worth of 1.29 million, which is not too shabby for folks that are in their Scott's in his late 40s and Melissa's in her mid 40s. So that's not too shabby. All right, so now we got them no kids. That's fine. I don't even think we have any. Yeah, we got some goals. Monthly expense in retirement is $4,000 a month. All right, so we're going to have them retire at 48. Well, I don't even know why I have Melissa retiring at 47. Doesn't matter because she doesn't work, I don't think, but we could double check. We're going to have retirement expenses of $4,000 a month, and that's what this guy told me was $4,000 a month. Now, we do have annual health care costs, and that's an issue you got to contend with because I'm just telling you right now, my wife and I, when I went on Cobra, is $2,000 a month. I mean, that's not cheap. All right, that's $24,000 a year. Now, we did have a family of 6, so I don't know what a private plan would be, but right now we went on MetaShare, which is a faith-based community share program, which is $500 a month instead, but there are higher deductibles and copays. I'm fine with that. And so I think about $10,000 a year, which boggles the mind how expensive it is now. They screwed up the healthcare system royally. There's no way a younger couple in their 40s should pay $10,000 a year for health insurance. So we probably want to reduce that, and I'm going to reduce it to, I don't know, we'll say $2,500 each a year. And that's basically that's going to be $500 a month roughly, or was that? Yeah, about $500 a month, about 416. So $400 a month, that would make sense. So either way, and we're not going to have any long-term care costs at the end of their death when they die. We're just not going to do that. But the system does default that if you want to put something in there, you can, which is pretty cool. All right, so their income now. So Scott's making good money now, 175, but again, he's going to retire, so this will go away. Yeah, I didn't have Melissa making any money, all right? So she was just running the real estate property, and her income was a rent she got from real estate. They got Social Security. We have Scott's Social Security at $2,000 a month at his full retirement age, because remember, even though he's making big bucks at 175, it's going to stop. He's not contributing any more into the system. So he's not going to have a huge Social Security relative if he kept contributing to the system. So that'd be one thing to think about before you quit as a 48-year-old man. Melissa, she's just going to get half of Scott's. All right. So Melissa will get her spousal benefit, which is half of his. And that's it. That's their income. So no income at all other than rental income when Scott hangs up his boots. Savings. He was putting money into the 401k. Melissa doesn't have 401k, but again, that's going to stop when he stops working. And then we already talked about expenses of, that was pre-retirement, but they're going to retire. All right. So far with me. So and then no kids. Break down their investments. And we already talked about that as a Vanguard Vanguard Growth Life Strategy Fund. And we just look at the tax allocation. It's just all in tax deferred assets. You'll notice I did not include their cash accounts in here. Because cash accounts I don't look at as like a long-term investment. I might change my mind at some point in that, but right now I'm not. We're going to say they don't have any insurance, which is, again, we're just keeping it simple. And we don't need insurance. I mean, could you have insurance? Sure. Should they have insurance? Absolutely. Just for this exercise, I'm not putting insurance. And then we don't need to educate. I just want to go to retirement. So let's go look at the retirement plan. So remember, look at that, 11%. So remember, we're only needing $4,000 a month. And then healthcare costs. That's it. We need $4,000. So let's look at the cash flows. Our expenses go to expenses right here. $4,000 a month on living expense. Housing is the property tax, and homeowners insurance is $4,000 a month, and healthcare is $2,500. Now you got rental outflows, and that's going to be property taxes and insurance. All right, so you got your rental outflows of property taxes and insurance of $5,000 a year. You got your own housing, even though you have no mortgage, of $3,000 for taxes and $1,000 for homeowners. And then you get, so look, I mean, even though they're only spending their living expenses of $48,000, their total expenses are $60,000. All right, so I mean, again, that's a big deal. Now, I'm working on a client right now, and they were trying to get $3,000 a month of income. And I said, no, that's great, but we got to make sure we're not double dipping in terms of $3,000 a month of income. Does that include your Medicare premiums? Because if it is, then we don't need to have another line item for Medicare premiums, the healthcare, because then we'd be double dipping. We're saying we're going to be charged twice for the same thing. If it doesn't include your Medicare premiums, then we do need to put that in there. And that's a big deal because the health insurance is such a big expense nowadays. And same thing with and I'm working on another guy, housing and mortgage. I said, so his mortgage is $1,331 a month. And does that include insurance and property taxes? Yes. Okay. So we got to subtract that out from your mortgage so we're not double billing you essentially on that. Now, I mean, so it's very critical that you have as much line items as you can. So living expenses should be everything in terms of your cable bill, your vacation. I mean, whatever you want it to be, that's what it should be. Your housing should be a separate line item and your healthcare should be a separate line item too. So you can actually, you can look at it and say, okay, because what happens in this case, if you say, your housing is $1,331 a month, and then you have that, but you don't have it as a line item here, and you say that's going to go on for the rest of your life, but that includes an $800 a month mortgage, which will be gone in 20 years. Well, that's not going to be accounted for in living expenses, that the mortgage went away. Now, if you have it as a line item like this, it's housing, and you have $4,000 in property tax and insurance, plus another, $8,000 in mortgage. You scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the mortgage goes away, and that's what you want. But if you just put it as all encompassing in living expenses, you'll be still basically accounting for that mortgage, even though it's gone, even though it's been paid for. So I know it's probably kind of confusing, but you got to keep that in mind. All right, so I want to show you what happens here. So let's go back to analysis. All right, so we only got 11% success rate. And that means, what did I say these guys are going to live to? Let's see. I can't remember how long they're going to live. Let's go to family. But 90 years old. Okay, so they're both going to live to their 90 years old. All right, so now we go back to retirement. And what we'll see here is that they only have an 11% success rate. All right, so I mean, that's just all there is to it. So this is a plan that has a lot to be concerned with. Now, remember, they got 700,000 liquid assets, and they're only taking $4,000 a month off that. On top of that, they got rental income. So let's just go back to cash flows again. So the rental income is, we go to other inflows. All right, so we got rental income, maybe it's income flows here. And Scott's also going to get a pension at $8,400 a month as well when he hits the age of 58, I guess is what it was. I'm not sure why I got 58, but I'm just going off what he told me. So $84 a month. Where's the rental income here? The rental income right there. So they got $1,560. Well, I guess we just go here. Watch. So their total income right here, $1,560. a month, and then okay, right. So that's a rental income right there. So they got $15,600 a month, and they got $59,000 in expenses. So we take $59,500 minus $15,600, which gives us $44,000 what they need. $44,000 a year in income. And you're like, well, $44,000 divided up by $700,000 of savings that they have. That's 6.2% a year. That shouldn't be that big of a deal. But you're missing the big boat. Taxes, my friends. Look at these tax payments. The taxes are on top of the $44,000 they need. And the taxes are what are going to eat you alive, which again is why I say, well, you have the cash flow. Go ahead and start squirreling money away into a Roth 401k. I'm just telling you right now, you are going to pay more tax today, but if you have the cash flow to afford it, you should do that for sure, because this is the bugaboo. You're going to have to contend with huge tax amounts. And so now we're taking distributions. We're taking net flows of $67,000 when you factor in the difference between their total inflows and their expenses, and you got to add the taxes onto that. So their total outflows are $85,000 when you factor taxes and expenses, and that's going to come from someplace, and it's going to come from their portfolio. So let's watch this. Their portfolios start, look at that, net cash flows. And I got this growing at, basically 7% a year. All right, so that's not chump change. And yet, look at this, beginning balance, they're taking 45, 50, 67 until they hit here at 72 years old, and it's gone. It's gone. There's no more money left in the pot, nothing. They are out of money. Now, at some point, hopefully they'll earn an income of some sort, maybe add another rental. I don't know what it'd be. But as we sit here today, that $700,000 of assets is not enough to see them through, even though they only need $43,000 a year from that. They just, because the taxes are kicking in. So again, we go to accounts. They start takes from the taxable account, taxable, and then exhausts the taxable account, and then it starts going from the 401k. And that's why there's no taxes here, by the way, in these first 3 years, because the money they need comes from the taxable account, which is a cash account, and there's no taxes due. But after that, watch the taxes, 4, 11, 12. I mean, that is all going in to take away from the 401k, and then the 401k gets exhausted right at the same time Social Security kicks in. So that's not good. I mean, it's just, there's no other way around that. And so we're sitting here, what if we change Social Security? And we'll run a couple scenarios, but I am curious. What if we change Social Security? Will that change anything? So let's go back here to income. So we know this isn't going to work. The way we're set up now is not going to work, where they take it at Social Security. Oh, we did take it at 67. So let's take it at 70. Let's see if that changed. I don't think that's going to change anything, but let's see. So we're going to take Scott's at with his delayed earnings credits, and Melissa. Okay, good. So let's go back here now, and we're going to run the retirement scenario with Social Security at 70. And for Scott, it's not going to change much. The reason being because they're going to have to get that extra 3 years of income coming in because Social Security has been delayed that much longer, and it changed by 1%. All right, so let's go here a couple things. So let's see if we do asset. Let's change the asset allocation to most aggressive. See if that changes much. And I'm sure it's not going to change too much. It's already pretty aggressive. Well, no, that did. What do I have him in? I thought I had him in the Vanguard VASGX, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, we got the Vanguard Life Strategy Growth Fund. Okay, well, that's pretty aggressive. I mean, that's 80% stocks. Okay, so I guess, I don't know about that. That seems odd to me. Getting rid of the 20% stocks can make that much of a difference. Well, all right, let's go with it. Let's change current strategy to optimal strategy and most aggressive. Let's click here. I don't think that'll change that much, simply because I thought we just did that by making it 70. But yeah, it didn't change anything. I don't have any debt, don't have any student loans. Let's tell you what, let's do this. Let's say we only need $3,500 a month in retirement living expenses. A lot of times it's just $500 on either side can really change things. So look at that. So just at $500 a month of expenses can wait. Let's go back here to current allocation. I'm just going to share you something here. So that $500 a month of expenses and taking Social Security, that's crazy how much the allocation. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to change this around. Bear with me just a second, my friends, mi amigos. We're going to change this to, we're going to delete that. 562 is what we got. And we're going to go to add holding. We're going to do VFINX. Yeah. Oh, I know. Let's do that. VFINX, just for simplicity. 569 divided by 269.08. And that's 2,105 shares. 21.5. All right. So now we got 569. There we go. All right. Let's just put something straight stocks and see what happens. So we're going to go back to retirement. Let's see what we got here. Man, it's moving like pond water, like we used to say. Moving like pond water. That means it's not moving very fast, just in case you're wondering what that means, if you ever hear that. So now we're going to stocks, current allocation. All right, well, that changed it quite a bit. So for some reason it has the Vanguard Life Strategy Growth Fund a lot more bond-oriented. So I need to remember that next time I use it for a proxy, because it doesn't have that much in bonds, only like 10 to 15%, maybe 20%. Yeah, I think it's 20. I think it's 80-20. That's right, 80-20. All right, so 100% stocks changes it quite a bit. Now, we do only have it at 3,500, so let's go back to 4,000, like he told me. So he said 4,000 a month, and it's going to go down. Obviously, it went from 47 to 21. All right, so that's a big deal. And we're going to keep the current allocation with 100% stocks. And I'm just curious, what if we go to 3,000? I bet that looks pretty good. So let's go to 3,000, see what we got here. And that changes pretty good. All right. So I'm fine with 77%. I have no problem. As long as it's over 70, 75, I'm pretty good with. And the reason for that is, let's go to confidence. You see here, the median is right there. The median is 50% above, 50% below, and the median is 1.731 million. And that's for these guys both live until they're 90 and not bringing any other income whatsoever. None whatsoever. All right. I mean, we're bordering silliness at that stage simply because they're going to make some money someplace, or else they're going to go. A good chance they're going to go bankrupt. Now, again, if we go to $4,000 a month, again, it starts showing you not quite as good. The median probably way down 200,000. Oh yeah, look at that. So that's the dish, man. Look at that. The median is $80,000. That $1,000 a month difference. So let's go to 3,500. I'm just telling you, man. So we're running thousands of scenarios here, and the median here is same thing. The median is zero, 22,000 essentially when they run out of money. So that's not going to work either. All right, now right here between 25 and 75%, they run out of money, or they have $2 million in there. I just don't like the median. That means 50% of the time, more than 50% of the time, there's no money left. And I'm not a big fan of that. Now, a couple things. I am using a lower rate of return simply because I'm inflating at 3% with a 7.5% nominal return. So that's 4.5%, not just now, but forever. All right. And that, I think, 10 years, that makes sense. 20 years, not so much. But I'm not going to make it higher, because I think the next 10 years, until we have a decline in the market where the price to earnings ratios get back to a little bit normal, they're higher. I don't see how anyone could advocate that we're going to get a 10% nominal rate of return. I just don't see it. Jeremy Siegel, who's more optimistic than Robert Shiller, Bogle, none of these guys, and Siegel's most optimistic, would say you should expect a 10% nominal rate of return. So I'm not putting it on there. And if anyone does, I'd say, how are you getting that? How are you getting those numbers? And if they say it's because historically, say, what is historical based on? And if they don't know, then you need to run for the hills. All right, so let's go back to 4,000. So already I showed you, if we go from 4,000 to 3,000, we can make headway. 100% stocks at 3,000 a month, we're good to go. There's no getting around that. I actually meant to say 3,000. All right, so I want to say 3,000. So we got 100% stocks at 3,000 a month. And we have a pretty good probability here. Comparison, we can run a bunch of different scenarios, which I'm not really going to do. I want to see the taxes. What's going on here? There we go. Proposed plan reflects 567,000 more total taxes than current plan. Just because we got more allocation, you're just paying more taxes. No other way around that. We got a higher allocation. The proposed plan is that's weird. It's got that much more. Oh, the reason why is because money lasts longer. That's why the money lasts longer. So you got more taxes. No getting around that. Income won't be very stable. Not until, because we want the purple is Social Security, and the pension is the light blue. So 70% of the income is stable, but only way in here. And by then you're in a world of hurt. So at $4,000 a month, that's at $3,000 a month, excuse me. So that works fine. So at $3,000 a month, because the money does last, your stable income is what we're looking for. We want lots of stability in our income. And when we have a $3,000 monthly expense, we get that because, look, we have a higher probability of success, 77%. But if we go down to $4,000 a month, it goes to, was it 22% or something like that? Let's see. 21%. Excuse me. So let's do one other thing. And then I got to go get one of my kids. I love this stuff. I can do this till I'm blue in the face. I want to go to goals. Let's have old Scott retiring at 50. Let's see how that changes things. All right. So we're going to work for 2 more years. All right, now what we're going to do, because he worked for 2 more years, we're going to make his Social Security. I'm just pulling this out of my head. I'm going to say he has another $100 a month in Social Security at full retirement age. And then she'll get an extra $50 a month at her full retirement age. Now, remember, he's going to take his at 70, so he's going to get 24% above that. This is his PIA, his primary insurance amount. So if you're doing this, always don't ever put the amount you're going to get at 70. Just put the amount you're going to get at your full retirement age, and the system will calculate it. Excuse me. All right, so let's see how things change. So all we've done here was we had Scott working 2 extra years. That's it. At $4,000 a month is their income needs at retirement. And retirement's going to be 2 years from now. let's see what happens. Exciting. I always like seeing how this works. Pretty good. All right. So make sure that $4,000 a month. He's going to retire at 50. We changed his Social Security a little bit, and we have 100% stocks in the S&P 500 index. So that makes me a lot more comfortable. I'm going to say 3,500. And see, that should give us about 78, 79%, I think. Let's see. 72%. Okay, sweet. All right, so here's what's happened. Let's go back to 4,000, then I'll wrap this up. If we got, I guess the 4,000 is right here anyway. All right, so let's just keep it. We're at 3,500. So we got the 4,000 a month right here at 46% probability of success. Oops. There we go. And we got 3,500 a month at 72%. So if Scott was to come to me and say, can I retire? I would not feel comfortable saying you can retire at 48 with this scenario I'm putting in there. I would say, look, retiring at 50, 2 extra years of work, and maybe reducing your outflow by $500 a month would make me a lot more comfortable. I frankly would not have any qualm telling him to go ahead and call it a career here at 50 with 4,000 a month. And the reason for that is he's not going to spend 4,000 a month for the rest of he and Melissa's life. They're just not going to, and they're not going to do it where they have no other income. But as a professional financial planner, I could never have my thumbprint on a recommendation that says you can go ahead and hang it up right now. There's a 46% probability of success. I could never do that because there's too many variables going in. We're going to assume he has no income other than that rental and other than that pension. We're going to assume that he's all invested in stocks. He'll stay all invested in stocks. Just too many assumptions there. And I can say, look, if you get another job, if this, if that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I can't have this coming back on me. So, you said no way. And no financial planner worth his salt is going to, which is the problem with financial planning. And the problem with financial planning software is that, just look at this. We'll go to cash flows. Look at what's going to show us, man. It's going to show us that his expenditures are growing right there. Hold on. There we go. Are growing by total expenses by inflation of 3% a year, every single year until they die. Then we get $195,000. It's got. And nothing changes. We don't have any difference in rental outflows. We don't have any difference in healthcare. We have no difference in property. We're adjusting it with 3% for property taxes, adjusting for healthcare at 5%. I think I put in there. And then we're assuming that nothing's going to change. Like if you have a down market. So that's the one drawback about financial planning is that it assumes that the monthly income or outflows will stay the same and that you never make an adjustment. And it's not just this software, it's all the software. It doesn't allow you to fully anticipate adjustments that will be made. I hate to say the market tumbles 20% and you're still pulling 7% a year off. I'd say you can't do that. The software won't show us that, which is too bad. Now, and again, on top of that too, don't forget, he's still got investment properties and property. So even though he has no assets over here, this is the proposed plan. This is not the 4,000 a month. He still has assets that he can sell. All right, so let's go real quick and I'll get out of here. All right, so let me just show you something. Let's just say instead of 4,000, he's going to do 4,500 a month. And again, this assumes that nothing changes. All right, so $4,500 a month, and that'll drop way down to about 18 or something like that. I think. Let's see, 24. All right, so let's show you what we're looking at here. He can't succeed. He and Melissa can't succeed. Why? Because he ran out of money. So there's his 401k with nothing in there. He's broke by 80 in terms of his 401k and any liquidity that he has. But if you look at his net worth is, look at that, at 80 when he ran out of money, he still's got 1.1 million in liquid net worth. And would you go ahead and sell one of those puppies? Maybe. It makes sense to me. If you're netting. Let's say, what's he net on rental income? Man, I'm hard to move this thing forward. All right, so income, I think it's other inflows. Rental income. So he's 80 years old. He's netting 39,000. Is that net or is that's not net? That's income, 39,000 to 80, and he's losing right there. Rental outflows at 80. He's netting 39. He's grossing 39,000, losing 9,200. So he's making $30,000 a year off that property, which is worth, what did I say, 553,000 at 533,000. Oops, $30,000 a year off 533, and that's a 5.6 capitalization rate. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But don't forget, the risk that might not be. I don't know. That might be something that's reasonable. Frankly, 5.6. He's getting 5.6 when all said and done off that property. If you would have ran out of money, though, I'd say sell that thing so you can get some liquidity, because right now you're not getting liquidity because your accounts are exhausted. Anyway, hope this helps, man. I love this stuff. So, Scott, if you're out there watching, this is for you. Maybe stay working for a couple extra years, maybe. But if you're going to call it quits, you got $4,000 a year. It's going to be dicey according to the financial planning software. No getting around that. And so what you want to consider is A, reduce your expenditures, or B, stay working for a couple of years, or C, have some other monthly flows coming in somehow, either working part-time, digging ditches, going to YouTube and showing people what you're doing. I don't know. But every $500 a month that you can either decrease your expenditures or increase your income is really going to be a huge difference for you. I mean, literally $500 a month. Look at that. There's a difference between 46% at $4,000 a month, or 24% at $3,500 a month, and $4,000 a month is our base. So if we go to $3,500, it's 72. So $500 a month on either side can really make or break it for sure. So as always, my friends, if you like what you see here at Heritage Wealth Planning, don't forget to subscribe down below. Once you subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for future content, because we do this stuff all the time, and you want to keep informed. Comments always welcome. Thumbs up always welcome, and we'll see you next time. Thanks now.